What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to the third Dudes Who Bet Sports show of the week. Man, we are dominating the Racing Dudes channel, Papa Dude. No new news on the OU coaching process except for wide panic. And I think we're in the period of just spreading rumors that really aren't true right now, right?
Yeah, the Oklahoma media is thinking they need to hire somebody immediately because I think everybody else has.
Yeah.
You know, the other coaching vacancies have been filled because it looks like Notre Dame's going to hire their defensive coordinator. I don't know whether that's official yet or not. So they're sitting around going, why haven't we hired anybody?
Yeah.
And the reality of it all is we've got Bob Stoops down there trying to keep everything in line and they don't practice this week. They don't practice next week. It's just I think they're afraid everybody's going to leave, and they're not all going to leave. The players that are there now, not everybody is going to leave. Yeah. So yeah, it's they just think they need to hire somebody right now, and they got to get this right. So they're taking their time about it.
That's the biggest thing. You got to get it right. You can't just hire panic and everybody going crazy. And I thought it was a good sign that Caleb Williams was at the basketball game last night. So
that was a good sign. I've heard him talking a little bit about that today, and of course, just conjecture. But I'm fairly confident he will stay if he likes whoever they are. I don't think he's going to leave till that next coach is hired. That's what I'm trying to say. Could be wrong.
Yeah, that's the big key. Who are they going to hire? You know, that's the big key. And will not just Caleb Williams, but everybody like him or not.
Well, you're out of town. Are you hearing anything down there? I mean, you're in South Carolina.
Well, I'm in South Carolina. I told everybody it's for a wedding, but it was really to go interview Brent Venables for the job. Brent's not here. Brent's out recruiting. So
I've heard a lot of OU players, former OU players who played for him, are actively hoping he's the guy that gets it. They think he's perfect. And I think it would be a good hire. I really do.
I think it'd be a good hire, but honestly, if it was him and OU wanted him or he wanted to come to OU, I think it'd be done. So I don't think it's him. I really don't think it's him.
Maybe right. Maybe right.
All right, Let's get into the games. We've talked about this enough. It's conference championship week, and it's one of the best weeks, obviously, of the entire season. So we'll get into the games now. We'll do college football. We'll do the NFL, and we'll get you out of here today on Dudes Who Bet Sport. Let's go right to it, Papa Dude. This game not as big as what we once thought because we thought Texas San Antonio might have an undefeated season on the line. They do not. They got beat last week. Western Kentucky on quite a roll. They thrashed Marshall on the road. Western Kentucky, a 3-point favorite against Texas San Antonio for the Conference USA Championship. Where are you going here?
Well, I got them for 1.5 a couple days ago.
Wow.
And I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
They're really playing well. Western Kentucky, they can put up some points. And Texas San Antonio hit the skids last week. The games in San Antonio would be the only thing. I really like Western Kentucky to win. Even at the 3, I like it. The 1.5 was a no-brainer to me. So I think Western Kentucky is going to beat them.
I'm 100% with you. We talked about games like this where it's like last week, for example, with North Texas. It's like, hey, they have a bad record and people are going to doubt them, but it's what you're doing now. And if you look at the last 4 games for North Texas, they played really well. You look at the last 4 or 5 games for Western Kentucky, they've played well. These games they've lost, if you go back and look at them, I know you have, I'm talking to the people listening, they could have won a lot of them. They were in the game. I'm with you. I'm going to go Western Kentucky minus the 3.
Well, they've won 7 in a row. They were 1-4.
Yes.
And they played a pretty tough schedule. And by the way, they played once before already. And this was when Western Kentucky wasn't playing very well. And it was a 52-46 game. Now that was at Western Kentucky, but they have come on since then. And I think Texas San Antonio has been living on a prayer for the last 3 or 4 weeks anyway. I think they're going to get beat.
I just think you're right about that too. I don't trust them, especially after just getting blown out last week against North Texas. All right, let's move on to the Pac-12 championship game on Friday. It's Oregon at 10-2, Utah at 9-3. We saw this a couple weeks ago. Utah just shelled them. That was a night game at Utah, though. A little bit different here. Utah just a 2.5-point favorite. So, like you like to say, hey, if you like Utah, go ahead and take them here. Don't worry about these points. What do you think about this game? Does Oregon get revenge?
Well, the first thing I thought about and what I wrote in the article is how much did that night game in Salt Lake City mean? Mm-hmm. How much does that mean? And they ambushed them. And now you got to play them again. It's just 2 weeks since you played them the first time. This is in Las Vegas, I think. Mm-hmm. I like Oregon tonight or Friday night. I really do. I like.
Really? You think Oregon turns the tables?
Now, I would pick. Here's what I would pick. I don't think Utah scores as much as they did the last. Because a lot of times, what happens is when you have the rematch, the team that won doesn't score as much the second time, even if they do win. And their points are 31.5. So I would take the under on that for Utah. But I think Oregon's going to beat them. I really do.
I kind of think Utah's just a better team than Oregon. I really do. It wasn't that competitive. I know factors are completely different this time around. I get it, but it really wasn't that competitive the first time they played. Don't you think it's a little
strange, Aaron? Don't you think the line's strange?
We are finishing each other's thoughts.
Yeah, you beat a team by 31, and the line's 2.5.
That's my only pause. Yeah. I would almost feel better if Utah was like -7.5. It's like, okay, Vegas sees. Yeah, I know. It is a strange line. I don't know. I'm going to choose to ignore it. Maybe I will be pissed off at myself. But I still think Utah's the better team, and that's if I think they're better, I have to go that way. All right, let's get to one on Saturday. That means a hell of a lot for Oklahoma State, and hey, for Baylor too. Baylor to win the Big 12 after what they were the last couple of years would be amazing. Baylor 10-2, Oklahoma State 11-1. Widely thought and pretty much a known fact, if Oklahoma State wins and Alabama loses, they're going to the playoff. What do you think about this one? 5.5-point favorite of Oklahoma State.
Well, everybody needs to wait, I think, and I don't know whether we'll know until game time whether the Baylor quarterback plays. Mm-hmm. I wished they would announce it, but I think they're going to hold out. I'm reading a little bit. I looked into it a little bit today. I think he's going to play.
I do too.
I kind of think he is. This has got upset written all over it, guys. I'm going to tell you this. Oklahoma State has not been in this position before. Baylor has nothing to lose. Mm-hmm. And these teams are pretty darn similar. I'm going Baylor all the way, upset, not even the spread. I think they're going to beat them.
Yeah, and as Mark says, he thinks, they're rooting hard. Oklahoma State is for Georgia, Iowa, Houston, just one of those three. And Oklahoma State gets in with the win. I'm 100% with you. I'm taking the Baylor Bears plus the 5.5. I think this game's a field goal, one way or the other. I think it's going to be tight. I think you saw an Oklahoma State team last week who played pretty tight and could have lost to an inferior opponent. The one thing, and this is a huge help, trust me, you may hear me say this and say, this is what are you talking about? Baylor's number 9. The fact that it's Baylor.
I knew you were going to say that.
The fact that it's Baylor and it's not big brother to the South, Oklahoma, it's not, and I'm not talking about this current Texas team, but I'm talking like if Texas was a good program this year and was in that game, that's going to help. It's going to help immensely. Trust me on this. Baylor is not going to be feared. They're not going to be intimidated by Baylor. I still think it's close, though. I think Baylor plus the 5.5 is the play here as well. Mark says, great point, Papa Dude. OSU coming off that emotional high of beating OU, and now this game means even more. Letdown written all over it. Yeah, and it could be a situation where they win the game, but maybe Baylor gets ahead and Oklahoma State has to storm back and they win by, less than
possible
6.
The one reservation I do have, and you guys made great points, is Oklahoma State is a different type of team this year. I think they're a little tougher than what they've been in the past. And used to, they were just a finesse. Well, they're Oklahoma Junior is what they had played like in the past. No defense, all offense. Total difference this year. They've been involved in a lot of close games, which means something. But I can see no way they can be as emotionally ready for this game, even though everything's on the line. And I think it's more of a choke job for me, that they choke in this situation. Now, I totally agree with you on the fact that it's Baylor, and that really helps because they don't have much fear of them. But, Baylor's not bad, and they can sock you in the mouth. And they've got a great running back, got a really good receiver. The key is the quarterback. If he doesn't play, now just totally ignore everything I just said because I'm just assuming he's going to play. I just think you got to pick an upset somewhere on these games, and this is my favorite one to pick.
It's not that their quarterback is great. It's just that he adds another dimension to that offense.
Yes, he can run the ball.
He can run it a little bit, and they're going to need it. It's going to be as the good old JR would say in wrestling. It's going to be a slobber knocker. This game. Yeah. This is not going to be your typical Big 12 championship game.
And while we got Mark on there, he made a point. He one of the first comments, and I do want to briefly. He commented on the Blues pullover I have on today, and Bennington, I guess, has COVID. I don't know. He's out 10 days. Usually, if you have 10 days or you're out 10 days, you have it. Yeah. Or he's not vaccinated. I don't know which. But anyway, it was funny here, and I wanted to mention this. I'm assuming Mark's a Blues fan.
Yes,
because he lives in St. Louis, right, or St. Charles. I don't know whether you noticed the other night, Aaron. I'm sure you did. The Blues have a habit of getting ahead in games and blowing them.
Right.
Well, they've figured out the magic formula now.
Get behind.
3-0 and come back and win. They finally have figured out what to do because I get so pissed off at them getting ahead by 2 goals early in the game, and they lose almost every time. And so the other night, they're behind 3-0, and I told Sandy, I said, hey, they're going to win this one. And I didn't think they would, but they did. Anyway, go on. I just wanted to mention.
He says St. Louis is the master of blowing the 2-goal leads. It's a curse. Yeah, absolutely. They are. It's incredibly frustrating.
Yes.
All right, let's move on. We're not going to do the MAC or the Mountain West or the Sun Belt, although I think Sun Belt will be a hell of a game. Let's go on to this one. This is the one everybody's this is the game of the year. Let's face it, right? Georgia, Alabama, SEC championship game. Georgia #1. They've just looked unbeatable this year. Alabama struggling, limping into this game. Could have lost a couple times. The teams you just wouldn't think Alabama was going to lose to. Georgia's a 6.5-point favorite here. It feels like they're going to win by 30, but it's still Alabama. And they have trouble, as in they don't ever beat them.
Yep.
What do you think? Is this the year Georgia gets over the hump?
God, I'm just like you. You kind of said everything I'm thinking too. Just don't. But it's Alabama. And we talked about it a little bit Monday, I guess it was Tuesday, that what if Alabama plays the game of their lives or the game of the season for them? Plays just a perfect game. They've got the talent to beat them if everything goes exactly right for them. The line I like the best is Alabama 23.5 points. I'm going Alabama under 23.5 because no one has even come close to scoring that on Georgia. It scares me a little bit, but the Alabama offense I saw Saturday is going to have a hard time scoring 24 points on Georgia. I know their quarterback is really good, and I've seen him play great. He is going to get the crap knocked out of him by that Georgia front. Not saying he can't handle that, but he hasn't faced anything like what he's going to see. So, and he's just a redshirt freshman. I just don't think Alabama's going to win. But that, as I wrote in my article, I would love to take Georgia plus the points. Not doing it. I'm just not. I'm going that under 23.5.
All right. I am going to take that Georgia minus 6.5. This is a game to me where I feel like the people like us that have watched the season all year should get rewarded. because and we won't. I get that. Alabama will beat them. But if you've watched Georgia all year and you've watched Alabama all year, I don't care what happens in this game. You know that line is wrong. You know that line should be more.
Yeah, should be 13.
I'm trusting my eyes. I'm taking Georgia -6.5. The other thing is, I mean, 6.5. It's not like we're taking 7.5. That's a big difference. I mean, they just got to win by 7.
Can you see Alabama scoring that much after what you saw Saturday?
Well, the one thing that the quarterback from Alabama's had trouble with is the offensive line has not been great. He's been pressured a lot. And like I said, this defensive front is way better than what we've seen. So I can't see him scoring 20. Well, obviously they're not going to score 23.5. I can't see him going over 23.5.
I really was surprised when I saw the 23.5. I really was, because no one has even been above 12 when they played. Early in the year, Arkansas was like 14.5, I think, when they played them before. Mm-hmm. But this is a team that's giving up 7 points a game. Mm-hmm. 7, and they don't play cream puffs. They play a few, but they played some damn good teams. 231 total yards a game in today's college football. That's unreal. And I won't be shocked because it's Alabama, but I think Georgia's going to have to not play very well for Alabama to win. How about that?
I mean, I 100% agree. Like, how could you? I don't know. If you've watched this, like I said, and I know it'll probably blow up in my face, me saying all this, but I just feel this is where the college football fanatic who's watched all these games and paid attention all year gets rewarded. And listen, you going under 23.5 is the same thing, the same idea as me taking Georgia -6.5. You think Georgia will control the game?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll score a whole lot.
They may not. Although Alabama's defense is not what they have been. They're nothing special this year either. So we'll see. Mark says, and this is a really good point, Mark, and one that I think why I'm going to ride with the Bulldogs. He says, I know Georgia is in the playoff regardless, but I think they really want this game. It's Bama, making a statement, moving forward, undefeated season on the line, potential power swing in the SEC. Alabama struggles to run the ball, and the quarterback can't do it all. Perfect. We should have had him on today because that's exactly all the reasons why I think it's going to go how it's going to go.
I'm going to say one more thing, and that's this. Aaron, do you remember back in 2003, Oklahoma was undefeated, and the same thing was being said about them. Nobody can beat them. And they had just rolled everybody that they played. And they went into the Big 12 championship game. Now, at that time, there were only 2 teams in the playoffs, so it wasn't a given that they were going to win or get into the playoffs regardless. In fact, when you and I were at the game, we thought they were out. Didn't you?
For sure. Yes.
Anyway, they played Kansas State, which was good, but they weren't great, and they got the crap beat out of them. They ended up getting in. The point I'm trying to make is they never recovered from that. They never recovered. They did not play well in the national championship game. They should have won. They didn't. Now, what I was getting ready to say is, what happens to Georgia if they lose this game?
Good question.
Will they be the favorites to win the national championship if they lose this game? Will that really affect them? It did that Oklahoma team.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? I'm just throwing that out there. I don't think it's going to happen. But
no, I think it's a valid point, and I think it's a really good comparison because we've been down this road, and people will say, well, Oklahoma 2003, they lost 2 games at the end. They weren't that good. But going into the game, that's the best offensive line ever. It might be the best offense we've ever seen and all this, and got beat. And then, they never recovered. So that's, losing a game in college is way different than the NFL. NFL, as soon as the game's over, I feel like they're over whatever.
They are.
A loss. Sometimes there's a hangover from a win. But in college, you lose a game, it's tough to get them back. So you're right. I think it does kind of have a chance to derail the season. And again, if they're going to lose a game this year, it's going to be on Saturday.
I think you're right. And it really, we probably ought to just wait and talk about this in case it does happen, because neither one of us think it's going to happen. And I think Mark doesn't think it is either. But it's just interesting to think about things like that, I think.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, the what ifs, that's what makes this show, right? That's why we have a show, because people like to talk about, well, what will happen if this happens? So we'll see. All right, let's move on to another game where history could be made. Can a non-Power 5 school make the top 4? The answer is absolutely yes, if Cincinnati can win against the Houston Cougars. Cougars are number 21 in the country. They're 11-1. You said it last week. They haven't played too tough of a schedule, these 11 games they've ran through, but they've won them all, and that's important. Cincinnati, a 10.5-point favorite. Do they cover, and do they make the playoff?
I am more confident in them this week than I've been in the last 2 or 3. I really am. I think they've got there. And the game's at home, and I think that is very important. And the more I research Houston and see the teams they've beat, I don't think they're as good as their 11-1 record. I mean, they have beat some horrible teams. I said Tuesday, their record, the combined record of the teams they beat is 47-84. And that's not very good. So they've beaten 2 teams that have a winning record. I think here's what can really play into this. If something happens and Cincinnati turns it over a couple times early and Houston gets ahead of them, then the pressure is going to mount on Cincinnati. But they've showed me the last 2 weeks with stomping SMU and then going to East Carolina in a pressure-packed game Friday and winning easily. They're ready to go. I think they may kill them in this game. I really do.
I'm with you. I think it's their time. I think they got through those games where it was scary. I think it's their time. I think Cincinnati dominates. I'm picking them to win this one big.
And I'll tell you another thing that I think is happening. I'm not sure on this, but Fickle's, their coach's name has been mentioned in all these high-profile jobs. I think he's told everybody, hey, stick it. I'm sticking it out for this. We're going to make the playoffs. If you want to wait till the season's completely over, get a hold of me. Otherwise, get out of here. I don't want any distractions. I really think that's happened. So
and to that,
they lose. And
to your point, there's one big school out there that doesn't have a head coach yet. Maybe they're waiting to see what happens with Fickle on Saturday. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think they can wait that long. But anyway.
No, I don't think so either. All right, Michigan. Let's talk about Michigan. They've got a shot. Obviously, they're in, not just a shot. If they win this week, they move up to number 2 after beating Ohio State. Kind of the same situation as Oklahoma State, and emotional, and I think even more so for Michigan. And that was a scene amongst scenes up there. They get the job done. They finally beat Ohio State. To me, they get a break because they're
Michigan is playing little old Iowa, and that's a huge difference. Even though Iowa's 10-2, we all know what they are, and they came off the biggest win they've had, and I have no idea. I mean, it's just a long time since they won a game like that. And they have to get ready again when everybody's patting you on the back and telling you, oh, shit, it's just Iowa. They suck. They're over there in that west side. That west division's awful. That's hard to hear that all week. So I don't think Iowa's got enough to beat them. I don't. I watch Iowa a lot. Now, here's what we do know about Iowa. They're going to bring it. They're going to bring it. They always do. Yep. They're going to bring it. Michigan ran the ball all over the place against Ohio State last week. I will be shocked if they can do that against Iowa. I don't think they will, but I think they can beat Iowa throwing the ball a little bit. The problem is this for Iowa. They can't move the ball. Yeah. I just don't think they can. Their running game, they're averaging like 120 yards a game. You would think they would be running the ball better than that, but they're not, and their quarterback's not very good. So to me, that's the difference. I think Michigan wins this pretty easy.
Yeah, Magic makes a comment. He says that he has a hard time swallowing 11 points on Michigan coming off the biggest win in a decade? And yeah, it definitely feels like Iowa could easily cover a close run heavy game on both sides. I think that matters. I think Iowa will be able to stop them a little bit more. I totally agree. Iowa will come with everything they've got.
Well, they will.
They'll play their hearts out. I'm with those commenters that are telling Michigan, hey, it's just Iowa. They're not any good. I mean, this is another one. If you followed this all year, you know Iowa isn't any good. So I think Michigan rolls them. With all that being said, I think they roll them. I really do. I hate to be like that.
And again, when you look at who Iowa's played, they're over in that West. They did not play Ohio State. They did not play Michigan. They did not play Michigan State. So they got the breaks. The only good team, the real good team that they played from the other side was Penn State, and they lost 5 games. So they've really had an easier road to get there. Mm-hmm. And to win 10 games without a quarterback in the Big Ten is pretty damn good. And they've figured out how to do it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and there's no doubt, though. They've had a great year. And if they win this one, I mean, it'd be unbelievable. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see him win. I think
I would too.
I might fall out of this chair funny. Yeah. Like, that's how funny it would be.
But I agree with Magic. I'm not sure I could take that 11 points. I'm not sure. The line I liked in this one, I think, I don't think Iowa will score 17.5. I don't think they will. If I say maybe, I think Michigan, it'll be like 27-14, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they cover, but it'll be just barely.
And like I said, if you're thinking it's a 13-point game, then all of a sudden there's a lot of different things that could swing that to where Iowa covers or don't.
Dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Listen, people are going to laugh at this, but I think this Pittsburgh Wake Forest game might be one of the most entertaining games of the day.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be a hell of a game. Pittsburgh's a 3-point favorite. At the end of the day, I think Pittsburgh's a little bit better. I don't think either one of them are great. I think Pittsburgh's a little bit better. I'm going to go Pittsburgh -3. What do you think here?
Well, there's 2 games that are sleeper games of the weekend. This is one, and the other one you skipped with good reason because it doesn't have much on the line, and that's that Sun Belt game. That Appalachian State, Louisiana. Those are
you think – who do you think's winning that one?
I think Appalachian State will win. It's in Louisiana is the only thing. But I think Appalachian State's a little better. But that's going to be a heck of a game, but it's on at the same time something else is, and the same with this one. They're both on at the same time. So most people are going to be watching Michigan-Iowa. But that Michigan-Iowa game may become a runaway, one-sided, and this one you want to turn to because you got 2 fantastic offenses going at one another, like you said, with 2 great quarterbacks. And I think Pittsburgh's defense is a little bit better than Wake's, but I picked it 45-41, I believe. So it's going to be a good game, I think.
You mentioned something, and I agree. A lot of people are going to be, trying to flip back and forth. Here's the good news if you're me. The wedding is early, and the reception is at a bar. So
there you go.
TV's everywhere for me, so I'm going to be very excited.
What time is the wedding?
I don't know. Hey, Heather, what time is the wedding? She doesn't know either. Good Lord.
Well, you thinking 2?
No, I think it's earlier than that.
Oh, that's great because then you can watch Georgia and Alabama too.
Oh, you think it's 2:00? Yeah, she thinks it's 2. Yeah. But that's 2 Eastern. That's 2 Eastern. So we'll be at the bar by 3:30 easily.
Oh, yeah. And you'll get to catch. Well, you'll just miss that wonderful Big 12.
That's right. I don't really care about it. Mark says, USC versus Cal in the COVID makeup game. Just call it the first bowl game, the toilet bowl, sponsored by Charmin Soft and Strong.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, is this Lincoln Riley's debut in this game? No, probably not. Right?
You reckon old Lincoln will make the trip up to Berkeley? He might.
I don't know.
He's not on the road stealing out of Oklahoma's players.
Well, the one thing about it, I'm rooting for Cal. Even though Lincoln's not coaching yet, I'm rooting for Cal. Go Cal.
Yeah. Go Bears.
All right, I'll pull up the NFL games here real quick. You'll see how the sausage is made here as I try to pull up these games on the screen.
He's on the
Here we
road.
go.
He's on the road.
That's right. I'm on the road. It isn't perfect like like normal. I'm
Yeah.
almost perfect. Yeah. Whoop, Mark. If I can come up there. So that's the problem with fall weddings. The men are all focused on football, cash and card for the gift and hit the open bar. That's right.
Or just don't go.
Oh shit. We don't have a gift for him, do we yet? Uh-oh. Well,
You
cash and card may be it, Mark.
You got all afternoon. You got all afternoon.
Oh, I haven't sent Stillman a Hanukkah gift either yet. Oh boy, this is getting bad. Hanukkah's almost over too. Uh-oh.
There you go.
Oh well. I'll have to think of something. Magic, you're my secretary. Get on that. Send Stillman a gift. All right, let's go on to tonight's game between the Cowboys and the Saints. We talked about a little bit, I think, on Tuesday. Both these teams desperately need a win. It's on the road. Cowboys still a 6-point favorite, even though it's on the road for them in New Orleans. Who picks up this big win tonight, Papa Dude?
Well, I've looked at all the angles on this one. I don't like any of them real well.
You can't trust them.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
And CD's going to play, and I'm assuming Cooper's got to be back by now, doesn't he?
I would think.
Yeah. And Cowboys are better than the Saints, but do you trust that's the best line I like, though. Although it's went up to 6, we had it at 4.5. When did that go up?
Yeah, it had to have went up last night or today.
Yeah, I don't like the 6.
No,
I don't like that. But I got them at 4.5, and I like that. I think I don't like anything else in this game. And you know what? You might be better off not betting it because you can't depend on either one of them. The Saints have been screwed up all year, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the team I think I can trust the most, and that's Dallas.
That's sticking your neck out.
Well, yeah, I think the best answer is that these are two teams. And again, I've used this line a lot since we're this far into the season. If you've been paying attention, why are you betting this game? You don't know what either one of these idiots are going to do, right?
I'm just going to watch Blues hockey. I ain't worried about this anyway. So,
because
you just don't know. What kind of condition is Cooper in? Did he have did he have COVID, or did he? He was out quite a while, so I don't know.
I thought he had something else going on.
He may have, but anyway, yeah, this is an iffy game. I think I'd stay away from it.
Yeah, I definitely am not going to play this game. There's just no way. Real quick, Ray Moore chimes in. He said, here, if anybody's wondering, the Gator Bowl projection for Ray Moore is Pittsburgh versus Mississippi State. I would watch that game. It'd be a good game.
I had my Arkansas experts here at the house yesterday, and they're thinking Gator Bowl.
Oh,
they're thinking
they may be wrong then.
Well, he threw out Gator Bowl and what's that other one? Outback Bowl, I think.
Yep.
They're looking at either one of those.
Yeah.
And he was hearing Clemson and Arkansas, but that they may both go to the other one, the Outback.
Clemson, Arkansas would be a fun game for sure.
Of course, he's being the pessimist that he is. Yeah. He's already thinking they're beat.
Well, I get it. Listen, if you are a team and you're rooting for a team going to a bowl, just remember our team is Oklahoma, and imagine what we're going to look like for a bowl game. So, Ray Moore says, "Hey, his Outback Bowl prediction is Michigan State and Arkansas."
Well, that would be a heck of a game.
I would watch that one as well.
Yeah.
Listen, I watch every bowl game from start to finish. That's no lie. I love the bowls, even the bad ones. I love them. So, all right, let's move on. Appreciate the projections from Ray Moore there as we move on to the Buccaneers and the Falcons. This really shouldn't be much of a game. Falcons are horrible. Buccaneers need to keep it going. They don't need to take a step backwards. They're playing a little better now. They're 11-point favorites, though. So what do you do here with this one?
That line's too big for me. Yeah. It just is. Atlanta, I don't know. How serious is Tampa going to take this? I think they're trying to round themselves into shape. That 11 is just too much. Mm-hmm. I don't like much on this game either. It's just too sketchy for me. 50.5, I think, was the over-under. Atlanta may not score 10, Yeah. And then they may score 20. It's just too much. I don't like anything about this. Tampa should cover that, but I don't. In the pros, those double-digit leads or lines, I don't like them.
No, I think we've learned that over the course of the season that this year, I mean, these lines, when they get above that, it's tough. It's really tough.
Look at Ray's next one there. That'll make you throw up.
Oh, Ray says he is projecting the Fiesta Bowl to have Oklahoma and Ole Miss. That would be a killing, an absolute killing if that happens. That would be embarrassing if that happens. I'm hearing Alamo Bowl for Oklahoma, so we'll see what happens there. The worst bowl by far is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. No, I love that one. Come on. Everywhere else is a paradise this time of year, and then the two teams play on the cold blue turf. They dump Five Guys fries on the coach instead of the
It is always cold. It's always cold at that game.
Yeah, it is. It's always fun. Honestly, my favorite one is the Hawaii Bowl because it's Christmas Eve. So what I usually do is get a bottle of Woodford and I just start drinking and watching the Hawaii Bowl and bet it. It's always so much fun. Ray Moore's Potato Bowl projection is Wyoming versus Western Michigan. So Mark,
I love
to watch Wyoming.
I love any bowl that's got the MAC teams in there. They're just great teams, and a lot of those Sun Belt teams get to go to some of those. There's some dandies, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah. Mark says, hell yeah, Ray.
Yeah, that'll be a good
drinking a bottle of Woodinville out of a bowl, Magic.
We'll have all our bowl projections. See, that'll come out this weekend too.
Yes, it will. It will. You can kind of tell we're not into the NFL this weekend as we keep talking about college.
The games are really shitty. They're really bad this week.
They seem to be. Let's go on, and we'll get through these here. The Cardinals, who should have Kyler Murray back. I mean, we've heard that for a few weeks. If 100%, he should be back this week. They're only 7.5-point favorites on the road against the hapless Chicago Bears, who are 4-7. I kind of like Arizona in this spot if Kyler's back. What about you?
I do too. They should cover this fairly easy. I'm kind of looking here. Chicago's 19.5 for their team total. I'd go under, I think. 7.5. Yeah, I think I would take Arizona if I was going to bet something in this one.
Yeah, I kind of like Arizona in here. I just, if you've watched Chicago all year, you know they're not very good offensively. And I think with Kyler Murray back, it's logic tells you they're going to be able to move the ball better than they have been in the last few weeks. So I'm going to take the Cardinals there. Okay.
Now, this is a good game.
This line is one of those lines where you go, What the hell? The Bengals, who are playing great, take on the Chargers, who are playing like dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's at Cincinnati. The Bengals are only a 3-point favorite.
Yep.
I'm taking the Bengals. They should kill them. But
I think so.
Why is this line like this?
Well, could it be no respect for the Bengals because they have been down for so long, maybe?
Because they're the Bengals? Yeah, that's possible.
Maybe. Haven't done enough yet to win Vegas over. But it's the Chargers. But here's what the Chargers do. I miss them every week.
Yeah.
I get down on them, they win. I say, okay, they're going to come out of it now, and they lose.
Yep.
And I've done the same thing with Cincinnati. This is two teams that have screwed me over a lot. But I'm like you. Now, here's the thing. This is huge for Cincinnati. You know, for a lot of things. They go 8-4. We looked at their schedule on Tuesday. It's doable. They could win the division, but 8-4 is a pretty good leg up on making the playoffs as a wild card. Mm-hmm. So it's huge for them. Will they choke? They might. You never know. There's a lot of pressure, but it is the Chargers. They got that going for them. I think I'm all over Cincinnati -3.
Yeah, that's the very good news. It is the Chargers. And like Mark says, last week was embarrassing for the Chargers at Denver, but in the NFL, no 2 weeks in a row makes sense. And that's definitely true, especially with these types of teams. That's the big thing.
And the Chargers at 24.5, I think I'd go under that.
Yeah.
On the road.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's rapid fire these next three. Let's say the next four because they're not very good. So we won't spend a ton of time on them. Vikings and the Lions. It's at Detroit. Vikings are a 7-point favorite in this game. Can Detroit get the win, get their first win?
Well, the one thing we know for sure, it'll be close because Minnesota can't beat anybody very bad. So I wouldn't take the 7.
Yep.
But you can't bet the Lions +7 either. The line I like on this one, did you ask me if Detroit wins? No, they will not.
Yes.
The line I like,
20.5
for Detroit, I'd go under. I don't think they scored 20.5 or 21.
Yeah, that one completely makes sense. I think Vikings win. Another game I'm not going to bet because it just seems like these two teams are not trustworthy. He said, Magic says, I need something more than a puke emoji for that game. So, all right, rapid fire continues. The New York Giants, they got a big win. Papadou predicted it last week, said they'd beat Philadelphia, and they did. It wasn't overly impressive visually, but still it's good to get a win. They take on the Dolphins. My Dolphins have won 4 in a row. They could get to 6-7 with a win here. I don't think anybody thought that was possible. Dolphins are a 4-point favorite. All right, who are we going with here?
Okay, this is a scary one for the Dolphins.
It is.
Scary. Yep. I want to jump all over that. It's in Miami. They play well down there usually. Pressure's a little bit starting to get on them a little because they got the Jets next week. They can get to 7-7. They're going to lose one. It's going to be one of those two. It's going to be this one. I swear it's going to. Giants are good enough to beat you. But I don't like the Giants, and I like the Dolphins, so I'm going to go Miami to cover. But no bet for me. I'm just telling you my opinion. I'm not going to bet it because this one scares me.
Hey, I've been riding the Dolphins all year, even before the year. I'm riding them here. Get on that Dolphin. See how far, like SeaWorld, we could ride the Dolphins. Yeah, I'm taking Miami. I think they get it done, and I think they're going to get to 7-7. As Mark points out, Daniel versus Tua, Bama beats Duke in football. Give me Miami in Miami. By the way, it's funny, but it is really good. By the way,
I like that line a lot. That's good thinking. Yeah.
Hey, Tua's starting to play well.
Yeah.
So saying.
Hey, they're not bad.
Like that, Mark.
They're not bad.
They're not. I told you guys for weeks. All right, let's go.
This is their big game.
The Eagles. Yeah, the Eagles got a bad loss last week, but they do get the Jets. But the Jets won.
Yep.
The Jets are better this year. They've beaten decent teams. Philadelphia is a 7-point favorite. Call me crazy. I want to take the Jets here and the points.
Yeah, me too. No,
oh my God,
no hesitation.
We're going to lose that one for sure. All right, let's move on. We're both to it. Mark that down. We both just picked the Jets +7. The Colts go on the road.
No. We didn't pick them to
win.
Big
I know, but still betting the Jets is kind of sickening. I've done it once and lost this year. All right, so let's go on. Colts take on the Texans. Texans lost last week to the Jets. Now they get the Colts. It's a line of 10 points is the only scary thing. Can the Colts beat anybody by more than 10?
They're 10 points better, that's for sure. Coming off a really bad loss, a tough loss last week. Yeah. I'll go the Texans +10.
I'm not betting that game.
Well, you don't want to bet Indianapolis, do you?
I bet the Texans last week. That's the problem. I was so
and I thought that was a good bet. How about this?
First of all, I'm paying attention to the Jets and the Texans. That was bad. Anyway.
How about this? Over/under's 48.5. What do you like on that one? I would go under.
I'd go under.
That may be the
best.
Let's
do that.
Okay.
Okay. You convinced me of it.
This next game's a big one.
This is a huge game. Yes, the Washington football team 5-6. Right now, they're in the playoffs. Believe it or not, as the 7 seed. They take on the Raiders at 6-5. Neither one of these teams you can really figure out. The line is 2.5 points towards the Raiders, so the Raiders are 2.5-point favorite. I wish it was 3.5. I would take Washington. I'm a little bit scared of the 2.5. Who do you think comes out with a victory in Vegas in this one?
It's going to be a heck of a game. And again, it's a similar. What was it last week? San Francisco. I think it was last week. Kind of an elimination game. This same thing.
No, it was the Vikings. The Vikings in San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah.
And this one is pretty much the same thing. I know they're in different leagues, but it's the same thing. Our different conferences. I mean, God, this is a hard one to pick. I mean, you could go both ways on this one. I mean, you can make a case for either one of them. Washington's won 3 in a row. They're playing good. The Raiders got a huge win last week over Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
An angle I'm kind of looking at is the football team played Monday night and they had to travel. Mm-hmm. Will that affect them a little bit? Maybe. The Raiders have had some extra time to prepare because they played on Thanksgiving Day. I went around and around on this one. I'm going to take the Raiders. I think that's who I would take because I like the 2.5. It's not that big a deal.
Well, I'm with you. I think the factors you kind of laid out, it makes it lean towards the Raiders a little bit. I really want to. I like Washington.
I do too
because they're kind of scrappy. I kind of like to watch them, but I am going to lean on the Raiders here too. I think they get the job done.
Another thing,
Mark comments.
Go ahead. We'll get Mark.
Yeah, well, I was going to say. Mark comments and says, I can't trust Washington until they get a decent quarterback and a mascot. Nothing against Heineke or whatever his name is. Washington just seems to play better or play decent, but not spectacular. Yeah.
Another stat I looked at, the Raiders throw the ball really well. You know, Carr's having a good year. And the Washington defense against the pass is not very good. So I like that angle on it too. The Raiders have bit me a couple of times too this year. So, you know, if they win, they're in good shape. They're still in good shape in the division, and they're in good shape in the wild card. So it's a big game.
You're right. I mean,
I'm not saying they'll make it, but they're still in the hunt.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. That's just it. What you said is very accurate. They're in good shape if they win. Yeah. And if they lose, they're, obviously, it's a swing game. There's no question.
It's a huge game. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's definitely a swing game. All right.
The next
I don't think anybody in the world thinks Jacksonville's going to LA and winning, but LA has been just pathetic.
Yeah.
They're a 13-point favorite at home. I mean, 3 weeks ago, you'd think, well, hell, they should be a 30-point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Do they kind of get back to playing their style of ball here and get a win?
I don't know, but if they struggle in this one, even if they win and say they win 23-17, 23-20, they got problems. They should roll Jacksonville. They should.
They should.
Well, I don't know. The Ram teams I've seen the last 3 weeks, there's something wrong. I don't know what it is, but there's something wrong.
It's not good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
I wouldn't
touch it. I wouldn't touch that line. I know that.
No, this is just not an exciting game to bet because of how bad they've been and the line being so large. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. They're going to win this game. If they lose this one, holy cow. I mean, that's going to be bad. Mark says Stafford needs to cut back on the picks. He's working at a bakery lately.
I tell you, this guy's on fire today. He's on fire.
Listen, he's brought it. Mark has brought it.
The A game is here. I'll tell you what, he's going to have to make a guest appearance here before too long.
I know. I think you're right. All right. Baltimore Ravens go on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Ravens, another team, seems to make the games close when they shouldn't be. Steelers are horrible. Mm-hmm. Ravens, they can still be number one in the AFC with a win here. Do you think the Ravens cover this 4.5?
I can see an upset in this game. I can see an upset because I think the Ravens may overlook them a little bit. And Lamar's not playing very well. And Pittsburgh's classier than hell. And they're not going to give up yet. They still got a shot. And this may be their last shot. You know what I'm saying? This is their last stand. They lose this, they're probably out of it. I think they're going to give it everything they've got. Everybody hates the Ravens in that division. They're easy to hate. I'm going to take Pittsburgh plus the 4.5 in this one.
I am too. I don't think they're very good, but I think you're right. And I do think this has the feel of Pittsburgh's last stance.
Yeah.
Just like they're gonna give it one more big shot. If they win, like you said, they're still alive, and if they lose, then you might see them kind of really start to slide off into oblivion.
Yeah.
So
I think this is
I'm going, yeah, and fly the terrible towels, Pittsburgh. Curtis says, yeah, big Pittsburgh fan there.
Do we have time for their schedule?
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. We haven't done a schedule, and I'm sure people are screaming.
You've got the newspaper out.
You got it right here. Let's see.
Okay.
They play Thursday night at Minnesota. That's tough. Oh, man, their schedule's pretty tough down this stretch. They've got Tennessee. That game's in Pittsburgh. Then they got to go to Kansas City.
Yeah.
Then they got the Browns, and then they go to Baltimore. I think even if they win this, I think they're done.
They're done. They're completely done.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't get too excited then. All right. 2 games to go. Then we'll talk about the Monday night game on Monday's show. But yeah, 2 games to go. 49ers go on the road to take on the Seahawks. 49ers have got some momentum after looking dead. They're a 3-point favorite against Seattle. A team, talk about looking dead. They've looked dead for weeks. To me, San Francisco covers this pretty easily. What do you think?
I'm going to disagree on this one.
Okay.
This is a trap game.
Yeah.
The Niners are on a roll. They've won 3 in a row. Everybody's buried Seattle. They're buried.
Yep.
They're not bad. They can beat you. I think the Niners will win, but it won't shock me if Seattle wins. They're going to win a game one of these days, and it would not shock me if they win this one.
I'm agreeing with the logic that one of these games they're going to step up and actually look like the Seahawks.
And they may have totally quit. I don't know. They played hard Monday night. Yeah. They did.
They did. They just couldn't do anything.
I mean, if you were a big 49ers fan, let's say that was the Cardinals going in there to play that game, wouldn't you be a little scared?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially the 49ers team.
I don't think they're going to lose Niners. The line I like is Seattle under 22.5.
Yeah.
They can't score. So
Seattle could win the game and score 20. So, I like that. I like that as well.
Yeah.
Final game we'll talk about. The Chiefs are a 9.5-point favorite this week off the bye. They play Denver, who did upset the Chargers, but the game is at Kansas City. The Broncos have done good to get to 6-5. I don't think they're that good. Do they have any shot of making this a game at Arrowhead on Sunday?
I kind of compare this one to the Michigan-Iowa game.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, anytime I analyze the Chiefs game, the first thing I do is look at the other team's offense.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see the Broncos, I just don't think their offense is good enough to beat Kansas City. And I think that's the problem. Even though when you look at the Chiefs' last few games, other than that blowout one over Vegas, they've been very low scoring games. They haven't been that very, the Chiefs are not scoring a ton of points, but you still got to be able to move the ball on them. You have to, because you got to keep it away from Kansas City. So I just don't think the Broncos have enough. I think they're going to bring it. I think they'll play hard. They usually play hard, and their defense is good, but I don't think they have enough to beat the Chiefs. The line I like, and I don't really know why the Chiefs team total is still staying as high as it is, because it's 30.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they get that unless Denver turns it over and gives them some easy points. So I would go the line to, I think the Chiefs covered that line. I think they should. But I would go Kansas City under the 30.5. That's the one I like the best.
I'm agreeing with you. The big point is to beat the Chiefs, I think you have to possess the ball, and I don't think Denver can do it. So, that's why I'm leaning towards the Chiefs as well, even though that line's kind of high. 9.5, I think, is good. If it goes up to 10.5,
I think they could blow them out.
They could. Yeah, they could.
I could see 30-6 real easy.
Yeah, I could see that too. It's a big game for the Chiefs to kind of keep that momentum rolling and look good doing it. Not just win, but look like a really, really good team doing it. So Mark's team that are the Broncos, and he says Broncos will get blown out. Will probably get blown out in Arrowhead. We generally struggle there unless the QB is Manning, Elway, or Tebow. I like how you threw in Tebow. Denver wins on a few scoring drives and defense. Chiefs defense is playing better, and Mahomes is getting ready to get clicking. I want to mention the Chiefs defense because that was a huge problem, and it has been off and on ever since Andy Reid got there, even, or at least when Mahomes has been there. So they're playing so much better right now. Do you think it's because of the opponents, or do you think they've just kind of found what they need to do defensively?
Well, they've gotten a little bit lucky because in these last 4 weeks, here's who they've played. Okay, they played the Giants. They suck. So holding them to 17, that's no big deal. Everybody does that.
Yep.
They got Green Bay. Guess who didn't play?
Right.
Okay, so we can't really judge that game because the kid they had out there playing, I hate to rip him, but he was terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so they held him to 7. That doesn't count. Then they went to Vegas. Vegas is pretty good offensively, so this is a good result there. They held him to 14, but my God, Vegas was awful. They couldn't catch the ball. They couldn't do anything. They
humbled.
Yeah, they were terrible.
Yeah.
And then they caught the Cowboys 2 weeks ago with all the injuries.
Yeah.
And they held them to 9. And Dallas moved the ball a little bit on them. But the thing I liked about the Chiefs in that game was they were all over Prescott. He didn't have it. They just beat the tar out of him. And that was a physical defense we haven't seen. So, yeah, I agree with you. They got lucky that Green Bay and Dallas, the two best teams during that 4-week stretch, didn't have their players. But they definitely are playing better. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think both can be true, and I think you're spot on with. They're playing better, but yes,
I totally agree with you. Their defense has really been good the last few weeks.
Yeah. Ray Moore coming back with another prediction for us. He says early Super Bowl pick, Packers 27, Bills 16. What do you think about the Packers and Bills in the Super Bowl? You like that prediction?
I like the Packers. Not too sure on the Bills. Let's see what happens. It could be the Patriots.
That's what I was going to say. It could be the Patriots.
Yeah. Let's see what happens in these two games. Packers or the Patriots Bills. Let's see what happens.
I'm so looking forward to that Monday night game between the Patriots and the Bills. It's going to be a good game.
By the way, I watched I don't know why this came up on my Facebook page, but there was some video after the game the other day, the Patriots game, of the locker room after the game. First of all, it's the most professional bunch of players I've ever seen. I mean, there wasn't any stupidity going on. Just regular stuff. But Belichick, he's supposed to be this stoic, don't give a shit about his players type guy. I mean, that's just kind of, you don't ever see him showing much emotion.
Right.
You know what? When he gets in with those players, they love him. You can tell. He is so different. Now, he wasn't crazy. He wasn't jumping all over the place, but it was just really good stuff, how he handled that. What a coach. What a coach.
He's a great coach. He did get lucky to get a guy like Tom Brady. I think you'd be dumb to not say that. But at the same time,
absolutely.
You look at what he's doing.
Yeah, players make the coach.
No doubt. You look what he's doing with this team, man.
Yeah. And you know why the press doesn't like him. I know you do, Aaron.
Yeah.
It's because he doesn't take any shit off of them.
Right. Yeah.
He looks at them like what they are. Just a bunch of mouths. And he's not going to listen to their crap. Yeah. He's just not.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
And that's just the way he is. And I don't know whether he could coach just anywhere, but he's a great coach.
No argument here. And listen, I don't know why, but early on, I think I just was intrigued with Mac Jones, and I've watched almost every Patriot game, like the whole game. I've missed very few plays of the Patriots, and man, even when they were struggling, I'm like, I really enjoy watching them. They play football right, they're fundamentally sound to this team.
He's so mature.
Yeah,
acting. He's just 23 years old. And I was in that video, he just went over, sat down in front of his locker, never, showed much emotion. It was just like, oh, I do this every day. That's the attitude about him. He just goes out and kicks your ass. Like, hey, that's what I'm supposed to do. And he's not out there acting like a fool.
Right.
It's just throw a touchdown pass or throw a little screen pass or whatever and head over to the bench and sit down, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah,
he's fun to watch. And as Mark says, Mac Jones versus Josh Allen will be fun to watch.
Yeah.
And Allen has been Jekyll and Hyde this year, and then Mac Jones, every year. People hand Luke out there for a rookie,
right?
According to Mark. All right. We got to get off here because I have to prepare for Blinkers Off. We got Blinkers Off a little bit earlier today. So Blinkers Off is coming up in an hour, and then a Magic Mike show the same time, 5:30 Eastern. So a lot going on the channel. So it's going to be a lot of fun today. We're doing a little early because I got a family is going to be here soon, and so we've got to get Blinkers Off done before that. So
let me ask a question. Answer that.
Hold on.
Okay.
Ray says, "Is this a son and his dad?" Yes, it is, Ray.
Well, Ray, I'm a little bit surprised he claimed me. That's pretty good. I was going to claim him, but I wasn't sure he's going to claim me. But yes, you are right.
Yes, Ray has great predictions, and
Ray.
Also,
do you know Ray, Aaron?
I do not. No.
Yeah, Ray, come back again. We enjoy having you here.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, you're always welcome, Ray. Come back in an hour if you want to talk more bowl predictions while we do Blinkers Off at 3 Eastern. So yeah, definitely come back. All right, guys. And Ray. Oh my gosh, Ray may be our favorite guy.
Hey, did you see the show Monday night, Ray?
Yeah, Ray. You need to go back and watch or listen. It's on podcast version is too of Lincoln Riley Can Go to Hell is the title of it. I think it was Dudes Who Bet Sports number 29. Go back and watch that.
It was Monday night. You're going to love it. Go back and watch it.
Yep. We blasted him for sure. Mark says, great show. Saturday will be awesome. I know it's going to be awesome. College football cigar mile open bar. By the way, Oaklawn running as well. It's going to be amazing. Yeah. Ray says he did not watch it. Ray, go back and watch that one.
You can get it on podcast or YouTube.
Yeah, you can get on podcast or just if you're on our YouTube page. Just go to uploads and scroll down just a little bit and you'll see it. You'll definitely like it. Big picture of the trader right there in the background. So if you feel the same definitely check that out.
If you feel the same way we do about Lincoln Riley, you'll like it.
If you're an OU fan, I think you will feel the exact same way that we do. We were very passionate about that. Okay, we're going to get off here because, like I said, I got to prepare for this next show. We're going to cut it. Usually we go about an hour 15, hour and 20, and today we're going to cut it to an hour. Final thought. Hopefully Monday we can talk about the new head coach at OU. I think by Monday we'll have a coach, right?
Right. And guys, basketball will be starting. Aaron and I haven't quite discussed how we're going to do this yet, but we'll switch over to we'll still have the NFL and we'll have a lot of bowl games type thing. We'll have some sort of a deal on that. And then we go to NCAA basketball in the NBA. I think Aaron's doing a little bit of hockey right now. So this thing will switch over to something different, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going away. That's the main thing. We're definitely not going away when football.
We're versatile.
We'll be here. And as I go over here, I'll show you right now. You go to free NHL picks. We've got them up. Got all 10 picks up for tonight. 62-55 on the season. 11-7 this week for the hockey picks, and 5-1. Well, 5-1 last night. Well, here's why I did it. I love hockey and I love to watch it. And I have the subscription where I can watch every game. And I thought, if I'm sitting down here watching these games and I bet a little bit of it, why am I not putting picks up on the site? So, and the thing is, it's like the same reason we started Racing Dudes 10 years ago for the horses. We loved horses. That's why we started it. Well, I love hockey, so why not do it? So
and I love sports in general, and that's why this is fun. So I think, and again, I know you got it. Just one more comment. I think what we're going to do, because with basketball, there's games every day. NCAA and NBA's every day. So I'm kind of planning on. There's so many teams. I'm kind of planning on just picking out 5-6 games out of the 2 leagues each day and giving picks. And then we'll still have our Monday, Thursday shows.
Yep.
We may change the days because college is a little, basketball's a little different. That's the plans. So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time with it for sure. Like I said, we're not going anywhere now that football for the college is starting to wind down. We're just getting going, and we love doing the show for you guys, and we love the comments. And like I said, we're a comment-friendly show. So if you're watching and you're like, I don't know what to say, just say something. We'll read it. So
hey, don't worry about it, because if it wasn't for the comments, this wouldn't be near as much fun.
That's exactly right. All right, guys, we're going to get off here. Like I said, sorry, going to cut a little short today. Blinkers off coming up in about 55 minutes, so check that out. And thank you guys for joining us. Everybody have fun this weekend, and good luck with all your wagers.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press